Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday and we are ready to start our Forgiveness Fridays. So, first I want to post something we're going to need to do together. All right. So, good morning. I'm Sylvia McIntosh. I'm your host for Forgiveness Fridays. I was trained by the Fearless Living Institute in Sherman Oaks, California, and am certified as both a Fearless Life Coach and as a certified Fearless Trainer. So I want to welcome you to this series of meetings that is aimed at forming a community in support of healing the holes in the souls of humanity. So we're going to be doing this. I'm going to do the live one more time. So next week on, let's see, today's the 12th. So on the 19th, June 19th, I'm going to do a Facebook Live one more time. And then I am only going to do this on the Forgiveness Fridays Zoom chat, which will be at 9:30. So you really need to get signed up on the email list if you haven't already, so that you can get an invitation to the Zoom room. And we're going to just do this as a conversation from after next week all the way through July to talk about the exercises that we've been practicing, exercises that you have that maybe I haven't brought up, ways that you go about forgiveness, how you choose to use it in your daily life. So we're going to do the rest of this after next Friday. We'll do the rest of this as a conversation in Zoom. So please sign up for the email list, Forgiveness Friday's email list, so I can send you that information. So what I would like to do right now all together is just read the forgiveness contract that Rhonda Britton wrote and uses as an exercise, as one of her Fear Buster exercises in her programs. So just take a moment and close your eyes, and then we're going to take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment and then blow it out through our mouth. So inhaling through your nose all the fresh, clean air around you. And hold that while you fill it up with all the tension and anger and frustration that's in you, and then blow all that out. And inhale the fresh, clean air around you. And hold that. And fill that up with everything inside that you want to release. And release it. And one more time. And release. If you have your copy of the PDF of the contract, you can go ahead and read from that. Otherwise, I did post this in the comments, so just follow along and read it with me. I, Sylvia, am willing to forgive myself. I am willing to forgive any individual or group I believe has hurt, harmed, or betrayed me. I forgive myself for all the times I have let myself down or ignored my own needs, wants, and desires. I forgive any judgments and unrealistic expectations I have made of myself and others. I am willing to see the good in myself and others. I am willing to restore my essential nature through forgiveness. I am willing to claim my sense of wholeness as I forgive. No longer do I waste precious time or energy staying stuck in an unforgiving mindset. Instead, I am willing to forgive for my sake. As I forgive, my fear dissolves. As I forgive, I am free. And if you have that, I hope you've signed and dated it by now. If you have a witness, go ahead and have them sign it. If you don't, just add my name and I'll witness it for you. So today we are going to review a forgiveness exercise again. Give me just a moment here to copy that and paste it into the comments so that you have it and once again, this is something you can get No, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. If you sign up for the emails, the Forgiveness Friday email, then I can send you a PDF of this that you will have to refer to. This is the wrong exercise. Well, this is the one we did last week. That's not the one I want. So now I need just a minute to go find the one I want. What I want to do is the I forgive you exercise of Rhonda's that I have now lost. So really what it is, you're going to make 2 columns on your paper. And the first column, you're going to list the person or event that you are ready to consider forgiving. And I'm going to include the word consider because maybe you're not 100% sure you're ready, but you know it needs attention. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And in the second column, after every statement, you will write, I am willing, spell it right, to forgive you. So you're going to do this exercise. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to write down specifically what it is. So for instance, as an example, with my mother, I wish you hadn't taught me to be afraid as a means of protecting myself. And then right across from that in the second column, I will write, and I forgive you, or I am willing to forgive you, or I'm willing to consider forgiving you. So whatever it is, but I am willing to forgive you. And you can add other qualifier words if you need to. And then you do the next thing. And every time you write something, you will then immediately write in the second column, I am willing to forgive you, or I am willing to forgive this. This is a great exercise for sorting through. I like to use this exercise on all the little things that keep coming up, like people in traffic, or when I get annoyed at myself because I get annoyed about people in traffic. So I wish you wouldn't keep yelling at other drivers who cut you off in traffic. I am willing to forgive you. I wish you could remain calm and pleasant and remember innocence first. I am willing to forgive you. Could be stupid little stuff with my kids. I wish the dishes were done every day. I am willing to forgive you. You need to stay out of your kids' business. I am willing to forgive you. So just going back and forth and forgiving each thing. So you can either have a whole list of different things, like the example I just gave, or maybe you have some big event that just has so many things in it. Hurtful things were said, maybe damage was done that was long term, other people got involved. And so you could go through and write down all these different aspects of whatever that particular incident is. So if we were to turn this into something that we wanted to use for current events. So right now we have a resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement, which I think is awesome. And it's particularly focused on racism and unequal behavior of police against Black people and other minorities, but the focus right now is on Black people because that's what's in the news most, those who seem to be being brutalized the most and dying the most. And just looking at our whole police system. Now, I have to admit there was a time I first started hearing people talk about we need to do away with police. We should stop being a police state. And I kept thinking, how could we possibly do away with the police? until I read the really wonderful and long article, and I will post a link to it after this is over because I don't have that ready and I don't want to hunt for it right now while I'm live. Big long article called "I Was a Bastard Cop." We all were. And what I love about the article is although he goes through and talks about all the things that he thinks are inherent in the training and culture of police that really support being white supremacist, he also goes through and talks about the things that would be more effective means of dealing with the problems police often get called for one, they're not really fully trained for, and two, where they are likely to respond poorly. But there are other organizations we have, for instance, social services, that would be better equipped to deal with whatever the situation is. Rarely are arms needed to take care of the situation, and often they get used when they shouldn't. But what I really love is his focus on, we don't have to do it this way. There are different ways to go about this that would be far more productive in terms of healing, resolution, instead of just squelching. And he also talks about that in terms of our whole prison system, which for a long time I've thought the prison system could be done away with if we were truly interested in reformation instead of just punishment and blame, but taking everyone as innocent and then focusing on helping them understand their innocence, understand the good that they could be doing, that they do have access to, and regardless of what they've been taught, that there are things that maybe they don't know that could serve them, and allowing this to grow in them and supporting that. So if we were really focused on reformation, which to me includes forgiveness, because how can I truly see you as reformed if I'm still blaming you for the mistakes you used to make? So I have to let that go. I have to let that go about you. I have to let that go about me. I truly believe most people, the vast majority of people, 99.9% of people, don't wake up in the morning and think, okay, another day. How many lives can I screw up today? I want to make my life miserable. I want to make as many people around me miserable as I can. That's my goal. We don't wake up thinking that. We wake up thinking it's a new day. I wonder what's going to happen. And we may have the universe is for me attitude about life. So when things go wrong, maybe we're equipped to respond in a way that allows us to step back, take a moment, look for opportunities for solutions. Or we may be functioning in the paradigm of the universe is against me. So everything that goes wrong is trouble. This is aimed specifically at me. And so we're in a highly defensive mode. And we lash out because we don't know any other way. So if we could really focus on teaching everyone in school, out of school, who end up in court, any kind of trouble, teaching them different options about themselves, that however they've always done things is fine if that's all they knew, and here's another option. Here's a whole bunch of other options. Let's practice these. Let's role play these. Which is why I became a Fearless Living Coach, because I really love the tools that Rhonda Britton offers through her books and through her workshops. Because to me they are so practical. So when I am trying to break a pattern of behavior, which is the only one I knew because that's how I was raised. Doesn't everyone do it this way? Actually, no. Everyone doesn't do it this way. But until I realize I could ask a question, I won't ask a question. It's kind of like addiction. You can't solve a problem you don't admit is there, and sometimes we don't admit the problem is there because we don't realize it's there because it's the way we've always done things. And the assumption that it's the way we've always done things often is so intense, we don't even realize that not everyone does it that way. So in Fearless Living, we refer to that as expectations. This is how things happen. And I know that because it's how they've always been. And therefore, when I talk to you or interact with you, I assume that you are going to do things the way I would do them because that's the way things are done. And then when you don't, I'm surprised, I'm angry, I'm frightened, and I lash out if I don't have any tools for saying, oh, wow, I hadn't thought of doing it that way. Tell me more. So this is why I love Fearless Living. This is why I became a coach, because it allowed me to take my life, which was kind of a mess. I mean, it looked okay. I had a job and I was happy and I had a home and I have wonderful kids and they've all grown up and managed just, no trouble with the law. None of them are in jail. None of them tried drugs. None of them are addicted to any destructive substances like drugs or alcohol or whatever else could be truly destructive. And I'm so intensely grateful for that. And I worked very hard to make sure that my conversations around them focused on what was possible and what they could do and what options might be out there. While I continued to talk to myself as if, nobody really wants you around. So get the work done and go home. And through Fearless Living, I was able to identify where that notion came from, that no one will want me around, that unless I was being useful, I had no right to be present. And it gave me specific language and tools and exercises I could use to practice thinking about myself, talking to myself differently. And forgiveness and acknowledgments are a big part of that. So acknowledgments have to do with recognizing my effort to move in a direction I want to go. It's not about doing it right. It's about my effort to move things in the direction I want to go. So acknowledgments, today I acknowledge myself for, can even include willingness to think about something that maybe I either never thought about before, because perhaps I didn't know there was another way to do it. Like I was talking about with, that's the way things are always done. But it could also include, and for me early on in particular, it included areas where I didn't want to think about that. I couldn't think about that. That was too scary. We're not going there. But when I would start allowing myself to go there, well, I could think about it. I don't have to tell anyone else, but I could be willing to look at this. Then I could acknowledge myself for being willing to think about this. And then I could be willing to think about, are there different options? Could I ask for help? Could I share this idea with someone? And once again, I get to acknowledge myself for being willing to think about, do I want help? Who could I ask for help? Because if I'm not willing to think about it, and I'm not willing to look at whether or not I think help might be useful, I will never get help. But if I'm willing to think about it, that's what it takes for me to reach the point where I might actually ask for help. And once again, this comes back to me for forgiveness. I always thought that I could only be useful, never fun. I'm willing to forgive you. My mom is the one who made me think you can only be present for useful. Fun time is a waste of time. I'm willing to forgive you. I bought into this ridiculous notion that fun is a waste of time. I'm willing to forgive you. Another one of my mom's favorite sayings was, if you want it done right, do it yourself. And I bought into that for a long time too, until I realized that neither one of us actually ever did that. I don't want to learn how to fix my car. I've learned some things. I can change a tire, I can change the oil. I learned how to change headlamps and learned how difficult it is to aim them. But as far as the rest of it, I don't care. I could learn it because I'm good at book learning, but it isn't interesting to me. And so I'm not going to take care of my car by fixing it myself because I'm no good at it. I'm going to hire someone else because I want it done right. Now, Mom was talking about things around the home. She had a way of stacking the dish drainer, and she taught it to me. And we would have contests. Who can put the most dishes in the drainer and stack them in such a way that they will still completely air dry. Nothing stuck together to where when you go to put dishes away. These two are still wet because they were stuck together. That's the kind of thing Mom was talking about. And so it made it difficult for her to accept help when somebody else wanted to do the dishes if they weren't going to stack the dish drainer right. Well, with my kids, I decided I wanted the help more than I cared about whether or not the dish drainer was stacked right. And I wanted that help for two reasons. For one thing, I wanted my kids to be independent enough to care for themselves and move out someday and maintain their own home without having health department violations because they never knew how to clean. But also, I wanted help keeping our home clean because I had help making the mess. All of us use dishes during dinner, so all of us can help wash dishes. And if all of us help clean up after dinner, then all of us will have more time to play later. And when my kids were little, we lived where there was a swimming pool, so it was great motivation, especially in the summer, for the kids to help with cleaning the home, because then we could all go swimming. So forgiveness to me is a big part of this, being willing to look at a different way of running our country. The whole debate about the two-party system, we can deal with that too, but just looking away from the need for police, looking for a way to looking for a new way to live in community within our communities. Knowing who our neighbors are, caring who our neighbors are, welcoming the new people into our neighborhood, even if they don't look like us. Perhaps especially if they don't look like us. Because all of the people moving in bring new ideas and they add to the variety and the beauty and the balance of what is going on. New ideas expand our experience. This to me is why forgiveness is so important. So your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to do this forgiveness exercise shortly after this, or do it every day this week. Find a series of things or something that's made up of a lot of things. List each thing, and each time you write something, immediately write, I am willing to forgive you. Write the next thing, I am willing to forgive you. You don't write the whole list and then a single, I'm willing to forgive you at the bottom. It's item, I forgive. Item, I forgive. Item, I forgive. Item, I forgive. And by writing it each time, it really will reinforce that for you. So I hope you will be joining me at the Forgiveness Friday Zoom chat, which is going to start in about 7 minutes. If you don't already have the invitation, you need to text or email me right now so I can send you that. I want to thank you for being here and joining in support of this community designed, aimed at healing the holes in the souls of humanity. I'm Sylvia McIntosh, and I'll see you next week.